These are days of shaking, where pillars will fall to the ocean. We'll lie in the long grass of the garden and speak.
I think magical thinking exists, but it's not. I'm not going to say it's not ritualized. We might come back to that, but it's not. It's not. It's not held in a. It's a personal ritual. It's a personal magic rather than a communal magic. And I wondered what your thought was on that, and just about sort of how we as humans tell ourselves fictions. So we're not talking about sort of fantasy, but just like common. I think a common magical thinking might be, you know, I've got to get through today because I'm going to have a really nice meal tonight, and that meal is I'm going to cook this amazing meal. And is that magical thinking? Because you don't know your meal is going to be good. You might go horribly wrong, but you're projecting in the future this hope, perhaps, that you're going to have a good meal.
Yeah. I was thinking in terms of these little. Does it matter if we believe in magic? But a lot of people, I think, even if they don't believe that their actions are going to actually cause some kind of magical thing to happen, they might still find themselves doing them, like knocking on wood, or the excitement of finding a four-leaf clover or something, that those little things. I think it's really interesting, because when I think, if I was to be challenged, do I really think that a four-leaf clover does anything? Does it really bring you good luck? Because I think lots of people do things to get them through the day, like you say, and to project about how things are going to be. That's positive thinking, essentially, isn't it? It's it's thinking in terms of just having hope. God, we need that, don't we? We need to have hope in our lives, and to have hope in the potential of things going well, and not just always having this kind of super rational kind of sense. I think that generally people who are hopeful probably will look for connections in things, won't they? They'll look for connections, and they'll find them, and then maybe that's I certainly think that if you think of that as being in a flow state, that for me is a really helpful way of looking at it. Creative thinking, and thinking creatively, and not just seeing dead ends at every turn. I think that is absolutely essential to certainly myself getting by in the world, just in finding those little moments. And I think magic is a complex word, because when you put that into, is it magical thinking? Well, magic suggests other worlds, doesn't it? It's a loaded term. Perhaps I am trying to configure magical thinking in my own life as maybe something a little bit different. It's that search for enchantment, and that for me isn't necessarily the same as magical thinking, where I think actually I have any that I'm the center of my own world, or that my thoughts are going to affect the weather. But I think for me, it's this sense of, I need to find some moments of magic or awe is maybe a better word, wonder in my everyday existence. And that actually might be as simple as making up my own rituals, like little rituals that are positive in my life. So going out for a walk and noticing the trees, or I don't know.
Yeah, no. What rituals do you have? What gets you by in the world? What are your rituals?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess I am trying to cultivate rituals. I think that I've got some habits that I want to break, like being addicted to my phone. So I'm trying to kind of break up with that habit, because I'm aware that to me is the antithesis of finding wonder and meaning in my life. It's like the chasm, or the leech of concentration that it has. So I guess as an antidote to all that, I'm, with the zealous commitment of somebody who's just made New Year's resolutions. I'm trying to get out, just it's simple stuff for me. It's just getting out for walks, getting out into nature, and maybe doing that in a mindful way. So not just doing that striding through the woods on my phone and getting too caught up in my own thought cycles, but trying to notice and trying to kind of cultivate curiosity. And I notice a lot of people are into wild swimming, and that to me is another kind of related ritual. It's these things that are a break from daily routines and habits. I've done a bit of that, but I think at this time of year I'm a bit of a fair weather outdoor swimmer.
No, I don't blame you. Yeah. But there's nothing magical about phones. There's nothing, even if you get clickbait showing some wonderful natural, historic or phenomenal thing, it's not your own experience. And I think having a phone, everything is there, but nothing is there. And actually there is much more connection and wonder if you walk in the woods and you see some goldfinches really high up in the tree. That to me is a much more enriching, magical experience than watching, I don't know, a shark killing a seal in the Atlantic on YouTube. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's so interesting that, because it's, again, we're having a great conversation through digital means, and it means something to me. I think it's possible to have connections online, and I don't want to kind of discredit that. And I think a lot of people get really into virtual realities. I'm not personally. I kind of find that it so easily tips you into just being a consumer of stuff, and you're looking for those little hits of dopamine, as I think Mary Waterston and Emily Barker, they wrote a song called Little Hits of Dopamine. And I just thought, yes, that's what you're just and all of these people in these teams are just researching into how they're going to get us to kind of want to engage more and more and get that buzz. But I think certainly for me, just having a break from that's when the real kind of sense of creativity can start, in just being more in the everyday world. And it's so funny that can feel like something to remark upon, but I do think that as we increasingly are part of this digital world, I think just it feels more and more important to take those conscious steps into the real world and to find the moments of awe there as well. And I think as well, just I have found increasingly everyday life as a parent have drawn me away from being creative as well, and from doing songwriting and stuff like that. And for me, that just the act of making music and writing, journaling, for example, and just creative writing, writing whatever's in your head, or reading poetry or stuff like that. I'm just having to, again, like make these really conscious choices in my life that's what I want to, that's how I want to spend my time. And they're little rituals, reading, writing, but they are so important. And I feel that with a sense that it's so easy to lose them and to get sucked into digital worlds or just the mundane every day, and to not prioritize them because life is busy and you know, you can so easily, I mean, I found that I went for months without reading and started to really mourn that, and to kind of again want these books that are about magic and finding, you know, other worlds and other modes of existence and that kind of thing. I'm definitely drawn to make that part, to make it an active choice to seek out wonder.
Fall to the ocean. We'll lie in the long grass of the garden and speak